Hey, welcome to UnInfluenced, you fucking assholes. Zohan's going to read his fortune to you guys.
Yes, I got a fortune cookie. I went to Panda Express for lunch, and I decided to open it on air.
And we decided not to give a fuck.
When you say a special lunch, you mean like retarded?
No, I went to Panda. I don't know.
He did order it with a helmet on.
And a mouth guard. Put your mouth guard back in.
Your presence livens up any conversation.
But it's like Christmas presents, not your presents. Yeah. So.
Well, it says P-R-E-S.
Yeah, no, I know what it says.
Oh, okay.
But I know what they meant, and it's not the same thing.
Oh, okay, thanks. Is that just for me? Or is that... Oh, okay, great.
No, it's just for you.
They meant you owe us something.
With Christmas coming around soon.
What a coincidence.
Your presence is requested.
I have to start paying you guys per episode.
Now you're talking.
Well, have you heard the audio lately? It sounds like you should. So, Thanksgiving. So I went through, I'm going to just be honest with the people up front. I went through a little depression. I haven't talked to my daughter, seen my daughter in about a year and a half. So I went through a little bit of depression over the weekend, and I almost didn't want to record, which I kind of told you, and I told Zohan. I blew it off as something that was happening here at the studio, but in all honesty, it was straight up depression, kicking my ass. And a lot of people ask us how we go through that. So today I was just going to be quick, short in the beginning and tell people how I kind of went through this little spurt of depression. Again, not talking to my daughter, not seeing my daughter. That shit's a pain in the ass. For those parents out there with older kids or divorcees, all that shit. Is it divorcee or divorcees?
Yes.
Either way. Not seeing your kids is hard. It fucking sucks. Even if they're old. Even if you don't like them. It just sucks. So I went through a little bit of depression, holidays coming around and all that shit. And what got me through it, no bullshit, is thinking if we don't put this episode out, we're going to let people down. And that sucks. I don't want to let you guys down. And then being here with you, you know, I would say my best friend and then this fuck stick over there on the keyboards. It just helps. It livens up the day, you know. And then going home, I have a wife that supports me through whatever, you know. I could go tell her today we're shutting down the plumbing company. I'm going to become a gardener. She'd be like,
all right.
Yeah. She'd be like, okay. And I'd be like, first bitch, plant tulips. Tulips on this dick. And, but yeah, so, I mean, it got pretty bad. Even yesterday, she was like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah. So for those of y'all that don't know, we go through, at least I do, I don't know about Mike, spurts of depression. And I've said in the comments to someone that was going through some bad shit, I think it was last week or the week before, they were going through some shit, anxiety, depression, and all that. And I'm medicated for it. But sometimes medicine just don't work. Hell, I think it's just a crutch, honestly. But yeah, I get through it. I'm getting through it. I'm not through it, but I'm getting through it. Being here, being present with people, and knowing you people support us. I like calling them you people.
It just sounds right.
Yeah. I don't get how you people became a fucking negative term.
I mean, fucking lump it in with all the other things that shouldn't be offensive that for some strange reason are, but
yeah.
What are the two key components for canine success? That's effective training and proper nutrition. Fueled by Team Dog brings those two components to your family and best friend. The perfect nutritional balance that results in a higher mental acuity, energy, overall vitality, and even an improved appearance. Every product you will find in my company's store was born from the battlefield and not from the boardroom. Let my life's work help you become your dog's hero.
So that was my little through the weekend. Other than that, I had a good Thanksgiving. It was funny, and this is going to come off kind of fucked up. My brother is going to a pretty much all-white redneck Thanksgiving, and he said, we're doing it Mexican themed. I'm like, okay, cool. And he said, what are y'all doing for Thanksgiving? And I said, well, we're going to our buddy Robert's house. And I said, it's crazy. We're going to some Mexican house, and we're doing that shit white people style. So it was white people themed.
It's just fucking cultural appropriation all over the place.
Yeah.
That's fucking funny.
So we were balancing it, and the lady at the haircut place, so did y'all have like tamales and all that at your Mexican friends? I was like, fuck no. We had turkey, we had ham, we had. The only thing Mexican was the people.
Yeah. That's fucking funny.
Our cracker asses.
You were the only white people there?
No, we had our buddies Matt and Courtney were there. A few of the neighbors were there. Julie, his wife, she's Polish, so she's whiter than white.
Yeah.
She's damn near see-through. And then there were a few others, but yeah, it was a good little event. Good hang.
Well, I'm glad that things are looking up and doing better, and I'm glad we came in and fucking recorded.
Hell yeah.
Especially on that front. Rohan, what did you do for Thanksgiving?
So my parents went to a family get together.
What did you do?
Yeah.
Oh, I sat at home and worked.
And what did you order, food or what?
Yeah, I went to Whataburger. So got a chicken sandwich and a honey biscuit.
So why did your parents? Okay, hold on. There's so many fucking things wrong.
There's a lot of holes.
Like if you want a chicken sandwich, go to a chicken sandwich place.
That was the only place that was open. Was Whataburger.
Don't make excuses. Popeyes wasn't open?
I checked. No, they weren't. They weren't. Surprisingly, they weren't.
Almost all Chinese restaurants are open too.
Yeah, but I've had Panda like 3 out of the 5 nights. So
Why didn't you go with your parents? Were you not invited?
no, I wasn't.
Do your parents not love you?
I debate it sometimes. It's just it's hard.
Take it easy. So your parents were like, "Hey, we're going to this Thanksgiving party. We'll see you later."
Yeah, they're like, "Hey, if you want to stop by, stop by."
Well, that's being invited.
That's an
Well,
invite.
yeah, but I mean, there's no kid my age. I mean, I'm sure you guys have been through it.
Well,
where you're
there's a big
fucking
difference
oldest
between
guy
not
and-
being invited and not wanting to go. Mm-hmm. Typical fucking Gen Zexer or whatever the fuck. Gen Z's, they or Gen they.
Gen
what are
Z.
you?
I'm a Gen Z. I'm not very proud of it, but I'm a Gen Z. Better than being a millennial, though.
I don't
will
think
say
so.
that.
I don't know.
I disagree. Actually, I think I didn't think that I'd get to a point in my life where I thought that there was a subsequent generation that was shittier than millennials, but by God, I think there is. I think we found them.
Congratulations.
On a serious note, I mean, I like to joke about it. I've certainly met a number of millennials and even Gen Zs that were phenomenal. I'll say kids, and some shitty ones too. And I think that's the case with every generation. I think it's human nature for each generation to look at the ones that come after them and think that they're all fucked up and it's going downhill. And back when I was your age and all that, that's pretty normal, I think. But there's for sure some differences, but that's the way the world works. But
How's that feel to be able to do that now? Because I've caught myself being able to, when I was your age.
I mean, there's part of that for sure makes me feel old, but there's another part of me that feels fortunate enough to still be here and be in a position where you can offer, whether it's advice or just perspective on, hey, when I was your age, this is the way it worked or whatever. And there's a part of that that's neat, that it's kind of the circle of life or, just again, the human experience, thinking back to when I was, in my teens or early 20s and thinking of guys that, were the age that I am now and the advice that they offered and thinking, what's it going to be like when I'm their age? And now that I am, it's kind of neat to be in that position, I think, or I am grateful to be in that spot. I mean, I know a lot of guys that I've been close with that didn't get the opportunity to even live to the age that I am, so I don't take that for granted, and I'm not lost on, how lucky I am to be, where I'm at. But anyway, I guess I'm curious, why did you not go?
Well, one, my sister wasn't feeling that great, so I stayed at home and kind of took care of her. And two, I had some work to finish up.
And the story just keeps changing. Mm-hmm. I didn't get invited. So woe is me first, right? And then it's, well, no, I did, but I had to take care of my sister. Like, so now just like the victim card, it's like you got a whole deck of victim cards that you're just throwing on the fucking table.
No.
Yep.
Yeah, you can wipe your ass with that fortune cookie.
Yeah, just stick it up your ass, 100%. Fuck that.
Well, my Thanksgiving was unique for me this year. I was out of town, and I was actually in Washington D.C. for it, which turned out to be really cool because it wasn't super busy. I mean, it was busy enough to where there were still plenty of people around, but I wanted to get some experience for my kids in terms of showing them what to be thankful for, and it was kind of a mixed level of success, I would say. We stayed at a nice hotel, and they had a really cool Thanksgiving buffet that they do, like this holiday package where, you know, it's a couple nights at this hotel, and then the buffet is included, and there's some other things too. It's like a package thing that turned out to be really good. The food was amazing. The staff was great. But because it wasn't super busy, like one thing that turned out being super handy was, and I would recommend it really in any city, and maybe people already do this, and I'm way late to the fucking party, I don't know, but we got a cab from the hotel, and for about an hour and a half, he just drove us to all the different places that we wanted to go, and he would drop us off right in front and then go park right down the street, and we'd spend 10-15 minutes at each one, and then, you know, as we were ready to go, like, he's watching for us, and as soon as we, you know, go back to where he dropped us off, he just drives, picks us up, and takes us to the next spot.
Oh, that's badass.
So it was like we got, you know, 4 or 5 big fucking ticket monuments where, you know, we actually got to go in and read and see and take pictures and get the whole experience, but not spend 2 fucking days walking around and trying to park and all that other shit. So the weather was cool, but still nice. Like I said, there wasn't so many fucking people because it was a holiday to where you could actually still experience it. And then, so that was the first day. And then the next day we went, I took him to the Holocaust Museum and to the Smithsonian. And, you know, the Holocaust thing was something that I went through, or toured rather, when I was about their age. I was in high school, and it had a very, very profound impact on me, even to this day. I mean, it was always something I thought about in joining the Navy and the 12 years that I spent there and going on deployments. I mean, it's something that, like I said, just it had a really, really heavy and profound impact. And I thought it was important to have them experience it at that age where they're old enough to understand what really happened, but young enough for it to kind of rattle them a little bit, you know, which some people may think maybe it's not a good idea, you know, to have them see that. And for those of you that haven't been to it, I can't recommend strong enough to go there, because it is very, very impactful. And it, I think, you know, no matter what you've learned in school, there's nothing like touring it and seeing some of the displays that they have are very well done. They're very powerful. There's video that they have in certain sections that I don't think is shown anywhere else. And some of it is very, very difficult to watch. But again, very important to watch so that you understand, especially leading up to the late 30s, you know, the period of time that Germany went through, which kind of, you know, put Hitler in a position to do what he did, is, I think, of all of it, probably the most important part to really look at, so that you understand how that happened, and to make sure that no government anywhere has the ability to do that. Ideally, there still obviously are some that still kind of operate that way today, but I guess I would say, at least in this country, to hopefully never allow something like that to happen. But it definitely, you know, was hard for them to see some of it, and you know, how it's amazing how quiet it is walking through there, and then when you finish, it's like nobody says a word. You know, it's like you walk out of there, and we didn't say a fucking word to each other for probably 10 minutes. You know, walking through the city, it was like there wasn't anything to say, and it was like I said, it was profound. It was important to have them do that. And then took them to the Smithsonian, and just, you know, there's so much to see there. You're not gonna get through all of that in a half a day, but we kind of hit the highlights of the natural museum and the regular history. Saw some of the gemstones, the aquatic part of it, and just you know, saw what we could. But and then from there, we were very fortunate to be able to link up with a canine handler from, I can't say which unit that the handler is with, but let's just say it's the highest one that exists there, if that tells you anything. And it was really neat to be able to see the dog and have the kids ask questions and kind of interact there. And it was not a typical experience that most people get to experience. So that was pretty neat to get them exposed to. And then at that point, it was about, 7:30 at night. So we jumped on those electric scooters and then rode all the way back to the hotel, which was several miles. We froze our asses off, but it was awesome. They had a blast and it was fun. So we packed a lot into those 2 days, and it was really good for them. And I just, because of other circumstances that led us to be in that area, I figured I'd take advantage of being close to there at the time. And that's what we did. So it was a pretty neat experience for them and for me.
I would say that what I got from this story is you're raising your kids very well, because some people nowadays see stuff like the Holocaust Museum, and we talked about it with Pearl Harbor and stuff like that. For your kids to leave and to just soak that in for 5, 10, 15 minutes says a lot, because it takes a lot emotionally to figure out, what do you say? If you're mature enough to soak in what you just saw, what do you say after leaving that?
Yeah.
It's not like you leave and you look and, you know what, I want a grilled cheese.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be funny at all. It shows that they literally took in what you took them to see, and they were learning.
Yeah.
It seems like.
No, for sure. It was, and again, I wasn't sure if it was the right call or not, because there are some parts to it that it's like you can't unsee, and again, when I was that age, it left enough of an impact on me to where years later it was still very, very at the forefront. And on the drive home, this is, a couple days later, one of the kids was quiet. And, I routinely, almost like a woman, would ask, like regularly, I'll just be like, hey, what are you thinking about? And kind of surprise them that way, because I'm curious what the fuck they're thinking about. And she said, I'm thinking about the museum and what I saw and what, so it was neat to, several days later, she's still, really thinking about that. And it had that big of an impact, because at that age, like, stuff like that, typically, even if they understand it, it's not important to them. What's important is their friends and, shit on social media and fucking YouTube and clothes and whatever else, and so, for it to still be that prominent to where it's not like we were talking about it, just, her mind wandered and that's where it wandered to, was neat to see. So, I'm glad I did it. And I don't know that they were. I think they were a little rattled by it and were like, fuck, we got 2 days here and this is what we spend half the time doing. But ultimately, I think it's good for them. And like I said, it's fucking important. So
we kind of touched on that this morning, texting back and forth, that we kind of both had the same thoughts on taking your kids to do stuff like that on the holidays. And knowing both of your kids, I wouldn't say either of them were too young, and no. I would say they're both very smart enough to take it in. I think they probably learned a lot from it. But yeah, I think what you did was fucking awesome. Like when you told me where you went, I was like, bitch, when did you go there? He was like, this week. Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Shows how much I listen.
Yeah. No,
that was your meal that you posted online with the crab legs and everything? Bitch.
Yeah, it was good.
That sure looked good.
It was actually, to that, like, I think it does make sense. I wouldn't want to do it every year. Like, I want the home traditions also for Thanksgiving and Christmas, those two holidays particularly. But I do think, every other year or alternate maybe, Thanksgiving, Christmas, you go somewhere on one of them and stay home for the other and flip-flop it back and forth, something like that. Because it is, there's a lot of opportunities that you can take advantage of that you normally don't get to, and as lame as it may have sounded going into it, like you're going to spend Thanksgiving in a fucking hotel room, like it was actually awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like I probably wouldn't want to spend it in a Super 8, with fucking Papa John's, but but if you plan it right and go to a place that like they're doing something for that holiday and it's a nice place in a cool town with shit to do, it's even they said they're like, this is a Thanksgiving we'll never forget. I mean, not that you forget any of them, but it'll definitely stick out to them as something that they'll always remember, which to me is what it's all about, you know. So I'm real glad we did it. But
and that's what I was telling you this morning is there's a lot of holidays I remember, you know, with my daughter, and I'm sure it's the same for you. But they kind of, when they're always that same setting, they kind of all start mashing together. In a sense.
You don't remember which one's which.
Yeah, I mean, there's one that always stands out to me, and we had my ex-wife and my daughter would always talk me into opening the shit under the tree early.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, you know what, I don't give a fuck. Just open it.
Yeah.
You know, so they'd open it, and then we're at her grandparents one time, and she opens up this Barbie, and she looks at it, and she's like, I already got this, and she just throws it aside, and I'm like, huh.
You're ungrateful fuck.
I took that moment to teach her, you know, I was like, I don't care if you have 6 of them. If you open 6 here, you say thank you, you hug whoever got it for you, and we can take back the one we got you, you know, and you can exchange it for something else. I said, but you never do that. That just shows you're a little asshole.
Yeah.
Of course, I said it to her nicer than that, but from then on, she never did it again. Yeah. But I remember that, but the rest of them start mashing together, except for the 2 I told you about this morning. Other than that one, they stand out because of what we did. I can tell you one of them involved me sleeping in a princess room. And that's the type of shit you do for your kids, you know, and it's like, and I would say I'm a manly man, but when it comes to your baby girl, your baby boy, whatever it's fuck it, whatever you want to do, you know, I can, you want me to dress like a princess? I'm on it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to me, it just shows that you're secure in who you are. You know, I mean, I feel that same way, not to leap subjects here, but, you know, we're talking about transgenderism, surprisingly, not that you being in a princess room makes me think of that. It's that what you're willing to be okay with and not need. And it was something I thought about here this week, actually, in dealing with something completely different, which I'm not going to get into, but is that, you know, it seems strange that the label of he or she or, you know, him or her or whatever, the whole pronoun thing of needing a label to feel like you are who you are. You know, and to me, I never really thought about it that way until, again, just other circumstances kind of made me think about this. But is that, like, I don't need to be called sir or mister for me to feel like I am who I am. Mm-hmm. You know, like, I don't need you to think that I'm a male for me to feel that way. And it got me thinking, like, I don't understand why there is such a need for that. You know, on that issue or that topic of needing you to refer to me as a correct pronoun so that I feel, you know, secure enough. Yeah. Like to me, it ultimately it's an insecurity, you know, which to me is actually very telling. Like, if you're that insecure about how you feel, where you need other people to refer to you as something to feel that way, then how strongly do you really feel about that? You know, that's the first part. And then the second part is you know, and if anybody has run into this, please comment in the comments, leave a comment, is that I've never come into contact with anybody who was transgendered that still, you know, dressed or appeared as though they were the same biological sex they were born with. Mm-hmm. Right. So it's always to the extreme the other way. And I find that also ironic in that, let's just say hypothetically, okay, I'm born biologically a male, but I identify between my ears as a female. Why is it then in that case that I feel the need to dress and appear as though all these other people that biologically have female parts? Like, if it's not the anatomy that dictates what your sex is, then what difference does it make what your appearance looks like? Mm-hmm. And why does it always fall in line with those who are overwhelmingly that sex biologically? Yeah. You know, it just doesn't make any fucking sense to me. You know, I don't think it's wrong. I just don't get it, you know. I don't think people should be mistreated or discriminated against. But on the same token, I don't understand, you know, why there's such heartburn with that either way. And I've run into that here recently, and it's to me it's kind of fucking mind-boggling. So if anybody has any input on that, respectfully, I'd love to hear it. Rohan, what do you got?
About the transgender conversation, or about the whole?
Yeah, I mean, you're Gen Z. Well, everything that I just said. Are you fucking around on Instagram?
No, I don't really have an opinion on the whole transgender thing. I understand I understand he, him, her, she, or things they, them, but all the other shit I don't give a fuck about.
When you say you understand it, what do you mean you understand it?
Well, so like I understand why people want to be called he, him, or she, her.
Can you explain? Can you explain your understanding of it? Because I don't get it. I mean, that's what I just said. Is I don't understand why there's a need. Like, I don't need you to call me sir to feel the way that I feel.
No, of course. I mean, again, I don't. You guys call me fucking a girl all the time. I don't give a shit. But for others who might not be as headstrong or thick-skinned, not that I'm saying I'm thick-skinned, but as fucking secure, because the amount of people that I know with certain anxieties, whether that's medical or just they fucking think it in their head. They just feel this need for acceptance. I don't understand it. I don't really give a fuck about what people call me, what people think about me. I honestly couldn't give less of a shit. I disagree on fundamental issues with most of my friends, this being one of them. But I'm in the same boat as you then. I mean, I'll call you whatever you want as long as they're within those three, but
well, I mean, so for me, I won't. I'll call you whatever name you want to be called. But in terms of sex or not, like, to me that isn't up for debate. As soon as you do that, then where does the line get drawn, right? Is that, what if I was to say, hey, I don't know what it is, but I was born feeling like I'm an Asian man. All right, so you're laughing, right?
I get what you're saying.
No, I mean, so would you, right? So how is that any different? Like, you're laughing your ass off,
yeah,
right? But the reality of it is that's absolutely no different than the transgender thing. Like, you would not ever respond that way. Like, if you responded that way to a kid in your class that said, "Hey, I know I'm born with a dick, but I feel like a woman."
I get suspended for 3 days.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So what I'm going to say about that, me and my sister have had debates on this, because she'll say, oh, they feel that way and you respect those feelings because that's how they feel. They might not, I think she used the word conform to societal norms. There's a reason why fucking society has norms. That's the norm. That's the basic principles that society by itself, we are all included in society, believe in. Fucking conform to them. But apparently, what I think it is just kind of that again, and you're right, it's mostly in fucking Gen Z, who are mostly teenagers. It's more of that fuck the, rebel against the machine type mentality, to where it's like, whatever is the normal, I'm gonna fucking go against it because I'm different, and I don't understand it for the life of me, but it's fucking stupid.
Well, I mean, to me, the irony there is that you're not different if you're all the same about it.
Exactly.
I mean, like, we're all the same but different again. Like, it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
The thing that messes with me about the whole situation, and this could be just me as a person, is, again, we all think different. As a normal heterosexual male, I think a lot of us that are, like you said, secure in our gender, manhood, whatever, I'm fine with someone being gay, whether it's male, female, I don't care if you're gay. And I think the problem is society started accepting that. I would say the overwhelming population in America started accepting, okay, my son, my daughter, they're gay. I can deal with it. And I would say the majority are okay with it. Just don't push everything off on me. I get it. I support you. Whatever you want to do, you're gay. That's cool. Whatever. Well, then they're like, how can we take this to the next level? Let's cut my dick off. Yeah, but that's how I see it. But it's been there forever, to where someone dresses up as a girl and sees themselves as a girl. That's why we had, I'm brain farted. Miss Trans America or something like that. Not trans, is it? What is it when they dress up? They're still
drag? Drags?
Huh? Drag? Yeah, drag. Miss Drag.
Is that it?
Matter of fact, the dude who won it 2 years in a row was my daughter's old dance teacher. And he was Miss Drag Queen USA.
I didn't even know that was
Is
a
that
thing.
that fucker on Netflix?
Matter of fact, he was on RuPaul's Drag Queen forever, but he was super flamboyant, how you would think most people who want to be a woman would be. But if you ever talk to him, he's like, no, man. I mean, he didn't talk like a dude, but if you ever talk to him about transgenders, anything like that, he was like, no, dude, I'm fine being a gay man.
Yeah.
You know, I'm fine. But this dude, I shit you not, could dress up like a woman, and he was a pretty bitch.
Yeah.
And
I mean, my take is on anything and everything. Like, do whatever you want to do, feel however you want to feel that makes you happy. Where I take issue with it is in the shaming of other people for not, basically agreeing with and doing what you tell them to do. Because at that point, then it's where do you draw the line, right? We'll take the term cisgendered as an example. You're familiar with that, right, Rohan?
No,
I gotta let this go.
What?
No, I have no idea what the fuck that even means.
So that means that you're gendered whatever you were born with, right?
Okay, like, cool.
Why does there have to be a term for that? But my point is okay. Well, if you call me that, what if I tell you, hey, it offends me that you refer to me as cisgendered? Hey, are you going to stop calling me that then because I'm telling you I'm offended by that?
No, I just thought that was fucking normal. Up until really 2020 was an entire shit show when it came to that. And this is where I would even take it a bit further in saying, like, certain political parties have kind of taken advantage of that mentality. One, I feel like it's misleading a lot of fucking people because everyone kind of wants to, again, I honestly, when people say, oh, let's lower the voting age to 16, fuck no. 16-year-olds should not vote, and that's coming from a guy who was 16 not too long ago. As a 16-year-old, you're principally way too immature. I mean, even at 18, my frontal cortex isn't fully developed.
I see it every time we have a conversation. I mean, to me, again, it's there's two components to it. Number one is that anytime that you are angered by somebody or unable to regulate your emotions based on what somebody else says, they now essentially are your master. I mean, they are. Like, if somebody can piss you off, that means they fucking control you, basically.
Yeah.
Right? And so if by me saying something angers somebody to the point where they're emotional about it, which is what you see overwhelmingly in these cases, you're handing the control of your emotions over to somebody else. Which is a very weak position to put yourself in. But number two, and I think even more so, is that as soon as you open the door to say, people are not allowed to do something because it offends somebody else, then that principle never ends.
Yeah,
it never ends. It is that now anybody can say what you just did offends me, so you can't do that anymore. Right? Because otherwise, why is it okay for some people to not have to be offended, but other people can't? Like, that once that door is open for you hurt my feelings, you can't say that. That can apply to everything, and that is not a free society. That's not a world where I think any of us can imagine really living in for the long term, where everything is dictated by whether or not it's offensive to somebody, because I don't give a shit what you say, somebody's going to not like it. So that's just not, it's not a realistic way to go about life. But anyway, we've spent fucking half the show talking about it at this point, but
it's a good topic though. I mean, I 100% understand, but I mean, some of the stuff we joke about, and I say outside the show, I make jokes to people while we're at meets that if I were to say it online, being two white men and an Indian would be 100% racist as fuck. But when I'm saying it in context to the people I'm around at meets, like the dude trying to get in the Porsche the other day, he was like, I can't get in here. And I told him, oh man, and then he laughed his ass off, him and the other dude beside him. Yeah. But it was context to what we were talking about. If I repeated that right now, YouTube and everybody else would be like, this racist motherfucker. Yeah. But that wasn't what it was about. People are too fucking sensitive.
If you don't mind, I want to add on one. Oh.
People should be paying rent in people's head if they are able to get in your head like that.
Yeah. What was that?
No, I just want to add on. for the last, I don't know how many episodes, ever since I started, I was kind of scared to voice what I, kind of truly felt for those exact reasons, Matt, where fucking if you say one thing wrong or one thing that can even, offend one person, you're automatically canceled for that shit.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's fucking stupid.
No, it is. But the thing is that even with that, a lot of that is brought on by ourselves, is the fear of what may happen. And, I can tell you between this show and Mic Drop, like I've said some very, very controversial things. To me, the key is how you go about it. Is number one is be emotionally stable when you're talking. Like don't be out of control, yelling and screaming and raising your voice and angry and pounding your fist. But more importantly is look at it non-biased, non-emotionally, non-political, non-religious, and question things. And if somebody gets mad, it's a simple response. Okay, like why are you upset right now? I'm simply asking a question. Understand how to communicate in a manner with which you're not accusing people, you're not shaming people. Mm-hmm. Like if you think about everything that I've said in the last fucking 30 minutes, neither of those are the case. I'm not accusing or shaming anybody. I'm asking, how are these inconsistencies not highlighted more and addressed? That they are. They're absolutely inconsistent. And so, to me, there was a comment on the last Mic Drop episode where somebody kind of challenged my position on law enforcement, which I'll get into in a minute. But I welcome people challenging my positions, and I think everybody should. Instead of wanting to live in an echo chamber and just hear what you think all the time, and everybody just pounds on the desk saying the same shit over and over without actually thinking about it. Like, hey, does this make sense? Is that you should welcome somebody challenging and pushing back and saying, hey, prove your position on this, or explain it to where I can understand it and it makes some sort of logical sense. Because if you can't, then you really need to reevaluate your positions. I talk a lot about it in the book Unfuck America, in taking that approach with everything that you're talking about. But what the comment was, Mike, you seem like you're anti-law enforcement. Is that the comment was, it seemed like you were on Travis's side until he started talking about being a cop, and then you pushed back, and it's, basically it seemed like you hated the fact that he was a cop, and that's not cool. And, there's no worse time to be a police officer right now. And, I'm a former Marine and now a police officer, and, basically what you did fucking sucked. And I said, hey, I appreciate you listening and I appreciate you challenging my position. I'm not anti-law enforcement. I work with law enforcement all the fucking time. Yeah. I support them both, locally here as well as nationally in the fact that I work with them. And I've donated dogs. I've donated training. I teach classes every year to thousands of fucking police officers to help keep them and their dogs safer and better. I don't know how I could do that if I'm anti-law enforcement. Just because I question the way that cops do certain things, you should welcome that, because if we're all looking at it from a position of understanding, right? And I can better understand what Travis goes through when he's knocking on the door. But on the transverse, if Travis understands better what my fucking philosophy and where my mind is at when he comes to the door, that's going to ultimately help serve him be a better police officer. Yeah. So, again, I'm, to the guy's comment, and I don't remember what his name was on there. I thanked him for his service and continued service and for watching and commenting. And I still do. I welcome those types of questions and challenges. And all I ask is, don't jump to the conclusion of saying, he said very specifically, I feel like you're anti-police. Well, that's how you feel. That's not how I feel. Right. I mean, you said it yourself. That's how you feel. Well, I can tell you I'm not, but at any rate, I think, with all of these things, back to my original point of it's how you conduct yourself, how you communicate, and the manner with which you address the things that you either take issue with or question or want to understand better. And that goes a long way. Don't go into the discussion trying to be right, or make the other person look bad or prove them wrong or whatever. Go at it from a position of trying to understand. And I think most people are generally pretty receptive to that.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I do like watching, and I get in and I watch when someone challenges a comment or something we've said on here, how you will explain it to them. Even, I mean, most of the time you take the words out of my mouth, what I'm going to say. But for the most part, I sit there and I look at it this way. If you're challenging me and it looks good, I'm going to look up what you're saying. Don't mean I want you to say your comment and walk away. Chances are Mike's already commented back and gave you a damn good answer. And my replies will simply be, that's why I love America. You can sit here and disagree with me about this topic, and that's why we touch on so many different things on this show. We don't have to agree. We can both feel totally different about one thing, but wait 5-10 minutes. We're going to go talk about something else.
Yeah.
But that's what I love about our country is we have the right to believe different things. And I had 2 of my employees listening to your show, and it just happened to be Travis. And matter of fact, I think we got talking about it while I was doing something at your house, but they were 2 black guys. And they're like, yeah, I don't get why the cops, hate black people so much. I said, dude, you believe everything the media tells you all the time. And we went through this whole spiel. Same spiel I went through with the same guy, with a different guy. Guys, 50%, if you believe the media, 50% of all, and in quotations, if you're not listening, 50% of African Americans are criminals of some kind. So I looked at the 2 guys right there. It was almost the same situation as the car meet. So I looked at them. I said, well, which one of you 2 motherfuckers is about to rob me since all cops are bad? Well, neither, sir. Okay, so not all cops are bad. How many times you been pulled over? One of them said, about 8 times. How many times you get your ass whipped? Well, never. Okay, how many times you get pulled over? Well, it's been like 6 times, and this one had been to jail. How many times you get your ass whooped, even in jail? Well, none. So they're not all racist. It's just the media wants us all to think that. But anyways,
yeah, I mean,
we don't hate cops.
I mean, it's with anything is that, if you, assume somebody thinks something about you, you're now every bit as guilty as you're assuming that they are. Right. So just stop assuming that people think certain things. And instead of saying things like, I feel you're like this, or I think that, ask, just ask, hey, are you against police? The statements that you made make me question as to whether or not you're against police. And I'm curious what your take is. Like, that's a much easier way to digest somebody questioning you than saying, I think you're this. Like you can think whatever you want, of course, but that adage of it's easier to catch flies with honey than vinegar is very, very true. Like, anytime you come at somebody, like, they're naturally going to get a little defensive and irritated and pissed off by that. Most people are. I do my goddamnedest not to be, because I know all that's going to do is further flame whatever the accusation or feeling is, from whoever's commenting on it. But that's the key component to that is the golden rule, is that if you don't want me to assume shit about you, don't assume shit about me. That's a pretty simple principle to follow. But anyway, how about that Dodge Hellcat? Yeah,
that is a good transition, and we're going to get into some viewer questions too. But I want to talk a little bit about this, and I have one other thing that I wrote down that's very telling on cars, and I think you might agree with me. You might not. I feel you will. The Hellcat.
Yeah.
Reading it, if you notice the write-up on Motor Trend, now Motor Trend did the actual write-up with Dodge, and it says they're getting rid of the Charger, Challenger, Hellcat platform. Now everybody automatically assumes the Hellcat engine's gone. They're no longer doing the Hellcat engine. It's gone.
Yeah.
The EPA still does not put any restrictions on trucks or SUVs. Dodge, Jeep, and Ram strategically put that Hellcat engine in a Durango and a Jeep Grand Cherokee and a pickup truck.
Yeah.
They also have plans to put one in a Jeep Wrangler.
Which is crazy to me.
Oh, I'd buy the shit out of one and fucking tear all
What's the torque on that,
I think it's all the same numbers as in the TRX, which I will get this wrong because they changed it from the Hellcat. But I think the common misconception, which to me, I see why Dodge hasn't changed the Charger and the Challenger so much, because they knew they wanted to phase them out. And they've been working on a Cornet and another older model to bring back in an EV style. So I think it could be a good thing for Dodge, actually, as long as they keep the platform in the truck, the Jeep, and the Durango to some extent. Because to me, it's too much power for those damn cars anyways. The cars can't put the power down. It's been proven over and over. I mean, fuck, the Demon should be the strongest car in a quarter mile.
I mean, to me, if they would just have more advanced traction control aids,
yes,
then it wouldn't be a problem. What I am curious of is are they getting rid of just those two platforms and keeping the Hellcat engine, or are they ditching the Hellcat engine altogether? But I would also ask, I guess, is that are they replacing it with anything? Even if they're keeping the Hellcat engine in, you know, the SUV and truck platforms, are they going to have some newer, more improved engine in the Charger Challenger platforms, or is it going to turn into 2- and 4-door fucking sedans that are, you know, gutless V6s that are just rental cars from now on?
I think what they're going to do, Dodge is smart enough, and Dodge has always been at the forefront of power. And I think what we're going to see is a V8 hybrid system, which a lot of people are going to get on and comment because they went and read on Cars This Week or whatever. And you may be right. It may be all 4-cylinders and V6s. Who knows? I think they'll keep it because they watch truck sales go up so high.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to regulate it. You don't get a gas guzzler tax on a truck. You don't get a gas guzzler tax on an SUV.
Yeah.
So why not keep it if people are paying out to ask for it? If someone's willing to give you $100,000 for a pickup truck that's no different other than an engine
and a little bit of bits in the fucking interior.
Yeah, I mean, it's no huge amount of money that they're paying $45,000 for the same truck below it, and all you're doing is changing engine transmission.
Shit, now probably $65,000.
Yeah,
but I hear you.
It's a great truck. Hell, some of you may know I have one now. It's 702 and 650 torque in the TRX.
God damn.
I think Dodge, their biggest problem with the car line, and I'm going to say Dodge. Oh, and by the way, the Ram CEO said no comment when asked multiple times if they were getting rid of the Hellcat engine.
Yeah, which to me says no, they're not. But
yeah, and also they highlighted the word cast iron block. So that really has me thinking, because cast iron blocks were pretty much phased out long ago, and Dodge kind of brought them back with the Hemi. So that makes me wonder, okay, so you're phasing it out. Are you keeping the power, keeping everything you've learned, and putting it in an aluminum chassis or an aluminum block?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the first time. Chevrolet's been doing it for years. Mm-hmm. So why would you highlight that phrase? We're getting rid of the Hellcat cast iron block platform.
Yeah, I mean, to me, they're just going to rework the engine, maybe do aluminum or who fucking knows, you know. But
they may be 3D printing one nowadays. Who fucking knows? But carbon
fiber. They make it out of carbon fiber.
I'll fucking buy one. I'm hoping like hell, because how we came as a country, and I've said this before, as Americans building cars, it reminds me of the 60s to 70s, to where cars had so much fucking power, the tires couldn't do shit with them.
Yeah.
And it was great. Mm-hmm. But then the EPA stepped in, and then we had late 70s into the 90s to where our cars sucked dick.
Yeah.
You know, hell, when we had a 315 horsepower Camaro SS, we were like, that's a bad bitch.
Yeah.
And that's a V6 right now.
I know it.
You know, and it's like, shit, we're in a great time. I hope like hell that they're like, you know what, the EPA is still not regulating us here, and here. Let's use these loopholes and still make shit fun.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, because, fuck, I filled my truck up the other day. I told you it was $100. I got that bitch down to fucking light on, low fuel.
Did you determine what kind of mileage you're getting?
It says 9.8, but I got 378 miles out of that tank of gas. It's got a 32-gallon tank, and I put 28 gallons in it.
Oh, okay.
So that tells me it was closer to 12 miles to the gallon.
Yeah.
So no telling if the calculations on the computer are right in the truck. I mean, I could do a true calculator and figure it up. But honestly, as fun as it is, and keep in mind, we'll do a review on the TRX because many of you know I said it over and over. Lately, the next few shows, I'm going to have to eat my fucking words. I said I wouldn't get the TRX, I had the option or opportunity to go buy one at Sticker, and I jumped on it, and I drive that motherfucker all the time. I love that fucking thing now. But of course, it's got shit done to it already.
Yeah. As well as some other things.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to have to eat my words. We'll get into that on the next show because I really want you to drive this one before we get into it so we can talk about it. But damn it, I'm going to have to eat my words a lot lately.
I think the lesson here is for both of us is to never say, I'd never get that, or I won't go back to this, or I won't ever sell that, or whatever. Because I think we're all mature enough now to realize that we don't hang on to shit for very long.
Yeah,
I mean, the Pista I've had for it'll be almost a year now. But
and when I got my year anniversary deal for the 488, like holy fuck, that was a year ago. I've been through some fucking cars.
Oh, I know it.
But I had fucking fun, I would say, on every fucking one of them.
Well, they're all learning experiences. You know, they teach you what you like, what you don't like, what you prefer or not, and just give you a better, more well-rounded driving perspective on other shit that you try out.
Yeah, I would definitely say what I've learned is we both study the ring times, the Nürburgring times. And I would say more in the beginning what we looked for versus now. In the beginning, we were like, oh, this is the fastest around the Nürburgring. We get it, and we're like, this thing's a piece of shit. Or this one's doing this around the ring. This shit sucks to drive. What we've figured out now, we pretty much run the same route, I would say 3 to 4 times a month, and we have a blast doing it. And when we go out, hell, I did the run yesterday. And so I kind of, more my wife put it through the paces than I did because I was being gentle. Fucking bitch. But what we've learned from our experience, just because it performs well on the ring or don't perform well on the ring, for the driving we do,
it doesn't tell the whole picture.
Yeah, it don't tell everything. If we were tracking our cars, it would change everything. Yeah. I would say where you're at with the Pista, you'd be okay with that car.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, I think especially if you put Sport Cup 2Rs on it, I think, it's the best of both worlds that way.
Yeah.
But, you know, to me, it's way more important. I mean, if the best Nürburgring time was, you know, the most important thing to me, I wouldn't have a Pista. I'd have a GT2 RS. You know, but I know enough about that car, even not having driven one, and between the performance specs comparatively to the Pista, as well as just what the suspension is on the street versus the track, I have no desire to own an RS car from Porsche of any variety.
Yeah.
As cool as they are, and as much as given the opportunity to drive one around a track, fuck yes, I would take it. But you know, higher speed driving on the real world streets, that shit is is very different from what most people value in their cars and what most people drive their cars like. Frankly, is I've talked to a lot of people over the last few months in looking at SF90s and the 765 LT and even some, the Porsche RS cars, and I haven't come across anybody yet. I'm not saying they don't exist, because I know they do, but there's not very many people that drive them that way, or trying to get that out of a car. Most people aren't interested in how fast a car will go from 130 to 180. There's very, very few environments where people will ever even, do that once, let alone on a regular basis, and want it to be at a certain time or be able to do that. That's just half of it too. The performance, because cars that are fast from 30 to 100 is very different from a car that's, fast from 1 to 150 or 130 to 180. And the other side of that is how they handle at those speeds. And that's where most cars, frankly, suck. Mm-hmm. If there's not good, very streamlined active aero and really good suspension and handling, driving at those speeds is a little unpredictable. It's nerve-wracking, and it's fucking stressful, and it's not enjoyable. So, there's very few cars that shine in those performance matrices that exists, or that anybody even has any data on. I mean, when you try to talk to dealerships or people that are in and out of cars as much as we are, most of them are like, oh fuck, I don't ever drive like that or drive at those speeds. I have no idea. Something as simple as talking about the SF90. Like, hey, if at 124 miles an hour the batteries disengage and now it turns into a rear wheel drive twin turboed V8, but now is 400 pounds heavier than a Pista with 60 more horsepower, is it going to be faster? Probably not, actually. So from 124 and above, I don't know that the SF90 is the better car. In fact, I'd venture to say it actually probably isn't. But most people pick any fucking track. Most of them aren't going way above 124, or at least if they are, it's not for very goddamn long. It's for a couple of seconds on a straightaway and that's it. So it kind of doesn't matter. It's how fast it's getting from 12 miles an hour to 90 miles an hour and everywhere in between in that power band. So while yes, that's important, for me, it's that super top end speed that is just kind of more my style, I guess, that what I'm interested in. So anyway,
our problem is we got addicted to speed.
Agreed. I mean, there's quickness and then there's speed, and
there is a difference.
Yeah.
I would say quickness is the first getting going, and the top end is the speed where you're like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
And we're more into that holy fuck rush.
Yeah.
I would say. And the bad part is we want it to handle well while we're there.
And so few cars handle well at those really high speeds.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it can go that fast doesn't mean that it handles well, and whether it's the R8, not the 992 911 is much better than the 991, but it's still not as good as, several other cars that we've had.
Mm-hmm. Someone asked me the other day if the 911 is the best all around car. And my answer to that, it's tough because I would say if you're buying one car and you want a supercar, I would say if you want a supercar, the 911 isn't a supercar, exotic looking car. But if you want a well-rounded best car you can buy, 100% that's it. If you want the best well-rounded super exotic car that's affordable, I would honestly say an R8. But at high top speeds above 140-ish,
yeah, that's not the deal.
It's not a good car. What you want in those speed ranges is where Mike's talking about aero, is where the car can push down, handle it, and turn well. Whereas the R8 to me always felt like it was lifting because the aero just wasn't good enough to push it down to the pavement. So you want that active aero or aero that works and puts down force to the car to where you can handle the speeds. And I would say the R8. Now, am I saying it can't be added? I would say a good body kit and lowering, yeah, you could probably get there with some downforce.
Yeah, I mean, you can get it better, know. But if that's the type of driving you're going to be doing predominantly, that's just not the car to get.
No,
I mean, plain and simple. Get a Performante or any Ferrari 488 and newer.
Mm-hmm. Just don't drive your friend's Pista. I'm going to tell y'all right now, if y'all buy a 488 and your friend buys a Pista,
don't drive
it. Ever. Ever. Don't even ride in that motherfucker. If he wants to take you to Sonic, take your shit.
Yeah.
Meet him there. Motherfucker. I sent you a deal on Instagram, and I found that very interesting. And what I'm going to say, to me, it's Porsche's budget best car. And I'm going to
4RS?
Yes, the GT4 RS. So on Porsche Lebanon fans, how the fuck I'm following that page, I have no clue. That just tells you I'm diverse as a motherfucker. The numbers back and forth on that car, and when you get to the last screen, I believe it tells you the weight difference.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm pretty sure the GT4 RS is the best bang for your buck in the RS line.
I mean, I'm curious what it costs.
That is the kicker. I don't know if we know the cost of that car yet.
I think it's absolutely a better looking car.
It does look good.
It's for sure cheaper, and performance wise, bang for your buck, it's for sure the better car. But I think it's still that's a car I would want on the track, and probably not the greatest on the street, and it's probably not that great at top speed either. But
I'm going to send this to Rohan, and Rohan, see if you can possibly maybe screenshot this shit.
Okay.
Hold on.
And put it up on the screen?
Yeah, and because it's 4 little sections, and it's a really good setup, honestly.
So just put 4 different images on the screen?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Even if we like let them sit there for a little bit and let them, I mean, we've kind of been in the Porsche talk for
all right,
a couple minutes.
It'll go up now.
Yeah, perfect. So to me, it's a great car. And on that note, here's what I want to talk about. We've talked about Porsches, and they're great. And in the next week, I'm going to get some more notes for the other show on supercars. But this is the topic I was wanting to talk about because I got asked this, and I really got to thinking about it over the weekend. Why do men become car guys or supercar guys? They look at supercars. And if you notice, most of those guys who are into supercars are also very into women. And I'm saying most guys, so all you flamboyant people out there, don't freak out. Fucking, what's his name? Jeffrey Starby watching this mad as hell. Talking about, nah, bitch. But again, though, they could probably appreciate where I'm going to go with this from this side. I would say an exotic car puts off an appeal, a look, an exotic look. A very beautiful woman, and I'm not saying size because everybody varies in size, just like you vary in cars, puts off shape, size, looks. Like you see a certain woman walking and it's like, holy fuck, look at that.
There's the same wow exoticness to it.
Yes, and it's not like just because I'm married don't mean I'm looking at her like, fuck, I want them guts. You're looking at just the beauty, same as someone who engineered a car. But if you look, almost every car guy we know is into hot chicks. You know, and it's not like, oh, fuck, I'm done fucking this one. And we don't trade them out like we trade out cars. And maybe that's why we trade out cars so much, so we could keep the woman we're with and we go on to the car. But have you ever noticed how most guys that are into cars like that are into beautiful women? And for those of you women that are into it, you're into guys who are chisel cut and shit like that, you know, performing guys, you know, just like we look at performing women that are models on Instagram, very beautiful women on Instagram. And it's like, fuck, but it's a different type of motherfucker.
Yeah, I think with, you know, most guys specifically is, you know, one of the big differences between men and women as it relates to,
I dropped that.
As it relates to things that they are attracted to, whether it's human beings or material items or whatever, is that men are very visual creatures. Mm-hmm. You know, it's why they appreciate beautiful women the way that they do. And cars that look a certain way, and you know, houses and things that are representations of success and status. And that I think there's an ego component that's tied in. That you know, because men are laden with testosterone, most of them, is that there's an ego attachment there. That some of it is societal, some of it I think is just hard wiring. Is that you know, there's a desire to want to be successful, and there are certain things that are representations or manifestations of being successful. And you know, to me, typically guys who are successful, it's more common to see them with nice cars, with nice houses, with beautiful women, with expensive jewelry, with you know, nice clothes, or you know, nice shoes, whatever it is because those are all only really possible if you're successful. Not necessarily the beautiful woman thing, but it does fall in line fairly often that way. And that's not a knock on women either. Is that it's one thing that I don't really understand. People, you know, talk about gold diggers or, you know, women who desire a successful man. And I think to myself, like, why the fuck wouldn't a woman want a successful man? Yeah. You know, I mean, they should want a successful man. Just like, you know, men aren't going to want to date some nasty, disgusting fat woman. I mean, like, I don't know why that's a big fucking shocker. You know, of course, either of the sexes are going to want an attractive, successful partner.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's shamed or looked at like, oh, she's just with that guy because he's loaded. It's like, yeah, of course there are some cases where that is the case, or some instances where that is the case. But by and large, I think most men or most women and men just want a partner that, yes, they're physically attracted to and that has their shit together. So I don't know why that's frowned upon so much or looked at as like a negative. But back to your point, I think that's most of what it is that, men are very visual creatures and they admire the way things look much more than women do.
Yeah.
Women are far more emotional creatures and get an emotional attachment to things much more than men do, which I think is pretty convincingly just a maternal character trait, whereas men like to look at things and are a little simpler that way. But that's my take on it.
No, that's right on. It was funny as you're explaining that. I'm sitting here thinking of a new meme that popped off this week, and it could have been going around. It's one of them quick videos, and it's like they look at her, and it's usually an older dude. They look at her, and it's some hot bitch, and see, is she with him for his money, or does he have a big dick? and the dude answers, it's a narration, and the dude answers, nah, bitch, I'm just fucking awesome. And the fucking dude just walks off. But, hand in hand, you usually see successful men with hot women. And most of the time, what you'll notice, if you get to talking to those people, that woman will support that dude through fucking everything. Why? Because she knows he got there somehow.
Yeah.
And she wants to make sure he keeps it and goes better.
Yeah.
So you kind of want that chick that supports you. Now, if you can find a chick that's hot, likes to drive fast, and supports you, fucking lottery, motherfucker. And cook.
That's right.
Yeah. So this ties into a couple of the viewer questions. You want to do anything before we get into this? Because some of these are pretty good.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So Mike, Repp, R-E-P-P. Is the last P silent or the first P?
I think it's just rep.
Yeah. Why you got an extra P, bro? Can you make the current Carrera 4S close to as good as the current Turbo S without affecting reliability? Looks like M engineers claiming to be able to get them to 545 with just a tune and 700 with the turbos. If you are still looking at a daily truck, Roush F-150 with supercharger, fuck you. A lot of fun to drive. Blah, blah, blah. No, I already answered your second one, so my bad. I went with the TRX. The answer to the Carrera 4S, that's tough because I want to say yes.
Well, so to me, the subjective part, which makes it difficult to answer, is what do you consider close to?
Yeah, close to stock.
Or just in general, like is 70%, 90%, 60%? Like what do you consider close? Without a doubt, that M engineering tune on a Carrera 4S will make that a very, very respectable car. Toe to toe with a stock Turbo S, is it going to hang? No, it's not. Is it going to be close? Yeah, it'll be fairly close. The bitch about racing cars and whether it's on a drag strip or a roll race in the street or whatever it is that if you the Ricky Bobby, like if you ain't in first, you're in last. That really is kind of it. Is that if it's not as fast or faster, then you fucking lost. Mm-hmm. And even if it was really fucking close, for most people, that's not good enough. Is it still going to be a super fun car to drive and probably reliable? Yeah, I would bet that reliability wise, bang for your buck, like you're going to get a lot out of that fucking car, have a truckload of fun, and not be kicked in the nuts price wise. I don't think it's a bad option. Is it going to be a 911 Turbo S stock? No, it isn't. Will it be fairly close? Yeah, it'll be fairly close, but not quite there. So,
yeah, like you said, reliability, being a VW product, they're stout. They're good cars. I would also equate close to how can you driver skill, because you take the 700 plus horsepower, and matter of fact, I'm pretty sure with the M-Tune, with their turbos and everything, they have an 800 horsepower package for the Carrera 4S right now. But you take good driving skills, and I wouldn't say I'm the best, but you put me driving a Carrera 4S topped out with all kinds of shit to it, to a guy who's never drove a supercar, and put him in a Turbo S, I will fuck him up all day long with that Carrera on the highway.
Yeah.
Going fast. Probably on a track too. Now you take a skilled driver in both cars, the Turbo S is going to be, it's just a bad bitch. I would say that bang for your buck though, you're going to spend about the same amount of money if you want to take a Turbo S to that next level as you would the Carrera. And matter of fact, AIM just got 191 quarter mile at 167.
And the Turbo S.
Yeah, I got that email during the show.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's fucking fast. That car has about $28,000 worth of upgrades in it. A Carrera, we ran across a 4S. I don't remember the tune that was in it, but I was in my GTR Pro. You was in the Pista, and we didn't realize it was a tuned car, and it surprised both of us. But once we figured out we were surprised, we fucked him up.
Yeah.
But it was still quick as fuck for what it was.
Yeah. I mean, again, we were assuming it's not tuned. And so if that tells you anything, which I think is actually pretty telling, is that like if it surprised us in those two cars, like, holy shit, this fucking dude's hanging in there, you know, that says quite a bit. You know, did they beat us or keep up? No. They hung in closer and more than we were expecting them to, which is always a cool thing. Anytime you can surprise somebody, that's always fucking fun. I do it to motorcycles in the Pista every fucking time I run into one. You know, but you know, again, it's kind of like being asked, you know, hey, what pistol should I get? It's like, well, fuck it. There's so many factors there that really depend on, you know, what your answer is going to be, which is going to drive or dictate what my advice or response to that question is. That it's kind of hard to answer, but you know, ultimately, like I said, I don't think you'd be unhappy with it. Bang for your buck, it'd be a damn good car and a lot of fun to drive. So
yeah, and if your budget is that Carrera S, like you said, bang for your buck, you're killing it. Go with it. Thumbs up.
Bang for your buck, it's the better buy, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're not hell bent on being the absolute fastest, then that's a way smarter buy.
100%. Buy it. Go for it. This guy's talking about the Integra. I'm gonna David, I'll get into your question next week because I'm going to copy it. I'm going to send it to Mike so we can both research it, because this is an area where neither one of us, I know for a fact, have not really researched it that much to give you a good answer. Glenn Gill always has some pretty good questions. What's your favorite Epstein meme with the Maxwell trial going on? And then he has another question. I don't have one, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I necessarily have a favorite one. I mean, I like the.
Hold on, let me change your mind, because I just thought of someone that sent me some shit, and they said, please show this to Mike.
I mean, I do like the Christmas light thing.
That one.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, I've seen similar ones to that where it's like, you know, what is.
I'll put that. I have that put on the screen right now.
You know, what do Epstein and Christmas lights have in common? They didn't hang themselves. You know, that one's pretty funny for sure, but. Yeah, I mean, other than that, I wouldn't say that I necessarily have a favorite one. I mean, there's so many funny and good ones out there. It's hard to hammer it down to one.
So his next question is, Matt, I imagine you've seen a lot of the major Texas TV, Motor Trend, Discovery branded TV shows. Who's building your, let's say, 69 Chevelle? So I'm going to mess you up a little bit here. I actually know the guys at Ken Diggett Designs very well, which is Bitchin' Rides on Motor Trend TV and Discovery. Like very well, invited to their family weddings and everything. And I would say a lot of the stuff you see on TV, the cars are built like total shit in person, Gas Monkey included. Fuck you, Richard Rawlings. The cars are built very cheaply. But keep in mind, Discovery Channel and Motor Trend give these guys fucking 2 to 3 weeks to take a rusted piece of shit and try to turn it into a work of art to make budget. So I think they do a phenomenal job for what they're doing. With that said, Ken Diggett Designs, Chip Foose both had right of refusal, and they can take their time. Those cars you see built on there in 2 weeks actually take 2 to 3 years. So I would go to Ken Dig or Chip Foose. Ken Dig mainly because if I'm going to give my money away, it's going to be to somebody I know. But his cars are fucking phenomenal in person. I got flown out the very first time, and they're like, hey, meet us here at this car show. And they throw me a rag. Hey, help us clean these cars. And I looked at it, and this will tell you how it is. He throws me a rag, and it's an Adams rag, so you know there's no chance of fucking a car up. He throws me a rag. He said, clean the blue one. Fuck you. This car was perfect.
Oh, shit.
I mean, every bolt, washer, fucking paint is perfect.
Wow.
I didn't want to touch that motherfucker in fear of somehow my fingernail get under there and touch something. And I said, fuck you. Yeah. But they also build drivers.
Yeah.
And what I love about them, they're down-to-earth people, and I know their story, how they started. So for me, Ken Diggett Designs.
Yeah.
How about you?
I mean, I don't know enough or have an educated enough opinion on those types of cars to really give you any fucking insight. You know, Matt's for sure the guy on that, and I just don't. I don't want to blow smoke or tell you anything that's fucking inaccurate because it's just not my fucking bag. So
I'll introduce you to my buddy at Ken Diggett, and we'll do a 2-for special.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of loop two of these in together. It's Dollface and Brandon doing their thing. They're talking about Thanksgiving turkey. Is it a must? Some people do prime rib. Brandon did smoked turkey and beef Wellington. God damn, I'm coming to your house next year. Is it a must? Turkey a must?
I mean, to me it is, but I admittedly also I like to have the traditional stuff, i.e. I like turkey, I like ham, green bean casserole, mashed potatoes, stuffing, some sort of dessert, preferably pumpkin pie. But I also like to add prime rib to that as well. You know, to me, it's the more the merrier approach, and I like the traditional thing, but I do like to throw some beef in there. There have been Thanksgivings where we've done prime rib instead of turkey and ham and all the rest of the shit, which is fine too. But I do like to have a little bit of turkey with some fucking good gravy on it for Thanksgiving. That's my take.
And Brandon says that his wife makes greens and macaroni and cheese. I can tell you my wife makes, to me, two things that I absolutely love: her deviled eggs and her fucking pumpkin pie, which she got that recipe from her fucking aunt. I can tear one of them fucking pies up.
Yeah, that shit's so good.
Yeah, it's a mix of pumpkin pie, and I'm not going to tell you fuckers how it's made, but it's pumpkin pie with pecan pie, all at the same time.
That's damn good.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah, ×2 on the deviled eggs too, man. I'll eat a whole fucking tray of those.
Yeah, fucking deviled egg. There's certain traditions that if you get away from, you
just ain't American.
Yeah, you ain't American at all. Scott thanks us for talking business and how scalable and all that stuff. He really didn't have a question, but Scott, you're welcome. And thank you for letting us know that.
You appreciate it.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Holden Ritland Traditions, A Christmas Story, Christmas Vacation, playing on a loop. Last year, I don't know if we started a tradition, but we did a Friendsgiving together, and we had some healthy competition, and I think we both got our ass kicked by some kids.
Yeah.
But healthy competition, we got together and did fucking, I show up, my wife tells me, hey, we knew you wasn't going to wear matching clothes, so we got you different pajamas, and I show up, and this motherfucker, everybody has the same fucking pajamas. But hold on. This motherfucker has pockets.
That's right.
That's some bullshit.
That's right. The only motherfucker with pocketed pants, and that's not an accident either. There's a reason for that shit.
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
You know what I'm talking about, Brohan?
Yeah.
Brohan job.
But so we'll put up our Christmas lights before Thanksgiving. We don't turn them on until Friday after Thanksgiving, just traditional. And then that Friday or Saturday at the latest, pretty much everything is fucking up that she wants. The tree, the other shit, unless we get new shit throughout the time. But we try to get it all up, and then we take it down January 1st or 2nd.
Yeah.
I would say that's that and fucking all the Christmas fucking movies. Try to watch as many Christmas movies. Nothing on a loop because there's so much shit out there now. We try to watch them all.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's largely the same at my house. Maybe not quite. Won't usually put anything up before Thanksgiving. Usually just the day after or that weekend, because it's always on a Thursday. So usually that, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sometime in those 3 days, put all the shit up. This year minus the tree. The tree we're going to do next weekend. I'm a fan of real trees. I just prefer them. But so I like to wait a little while, another week, so that it's they haven't been sitting around for a month and are bone fucking dry like the Christmas vacation turkey. But similarly, I like to I go all in. December is my favorite time of the year is really October to January 2nd, but because I love from Halloween to the 1st basically. But yeah, I mean for sure this month I like to. Have candles going that fucking smell like, gingerbread or fucking pumpkin spice or, whatever, cinnamon. I mean, just holiday smell type shit, music, fucking movies, decorations up. I love that shit. I have real fond memories of that as a kid and have definitely wanted to pass that on to the kids and make a big deal out of it. And it's neat. I love it.
Yep. This dude one day, my wife had got Bed Bath & Beyond soaps on sale, and it was fucking July, and he's washing his hands, and he comes out. He said, I love your house. Fucking smells like Christmas around this motherfucker.
Every time I take a shit at your house, it smells like Christmas.
Yeah, so I got to say, I was always a bah humbug type of person, and I said that in the last show that my biggest thing I don't like is the running around, but I got to say, being married to who I'm married to now and hanging around Mike hits I shit you not, y'all won't see it, but there's a light switch around fucking October that no bullshit. This motherfucker goes from y'all don't see him smiling all the time, so that's normal. But he's a happy motherfucker from October to January, and that's no bullshit. Just smiling about some shit that don't even matter, just smiling. And it's pretty cool, and it's infectious between him, my wife, and everybody we hang around right now.
I love that cool shit.
Rohan, how about you? You got any Christmas traditions?
No, my family doesn't really celebrate Christmas.
Oh, I bet if we ask again. So we celebrate it.
No. We
do. We just
yeah.
No, my mom believes in, because again we're Hindu. It's like we haven't done. We haven't gone to church every Sunday. We haven't done the stuff to reap those benefits. So
you guys put lights up?
We'll put up lights in the yard and a snowman, like an inflatable snowman. But that's it.
Yeah.
Our Christmas is Diwali, so we'll do a few gifts, and we'll put up little candles around the house. But kind of one thing that I want to do in my future is the whole Christmas thing.
Are you a fan of The Office?
I am a fan of The Office.
When Michael Scott sings Diwali, you guys should play that and wear shitty Christmas sweaters and start your own tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Oh fuck, that'd be funny.
That'd be awesome. And get it on video, and we'll throw it on Patreon. You're welcome.
Awesome.
So we're here to the end of close to the end of the show, and as a parent, I want to ask you something, because I'm torn on this. My wife's big on not wanting to lie to kids. So she's like, if we were to have a child, do we tell it there's a Santa Claus, or do we not?
Ooh, this is a good question.
No, I think you should. Again, it's part of the tradition.
It's part of the magic to me.
No, I agree. I would not. To me, again, I mean, having been through it as a child and as a parent, those are some of the best memories I have in both ways. Both as a kid and doing that for kids. It brings out the inner child in you, I think, and makes the holidays special for you and for them. And I absolutely agree with it. Now, when they're fucking 19 and going to college and you're, still trying to tell them that Santa's bringing them some shit, probably not, but for that elementary school period, to me, there's nothing fucking better. I mean, we did fake snow prints. I mean, it's fucking hilarious. I mean, it's as funny as it is enjoyable. the shit that you can get your kids to believe because they want to believe it, you know, because it's exciting.
It's magic.
Yeah. And I mean, like the elf on the shelf, that wasn't a thing when we were kids, or at least not for me. Dude, I mean, some of the funnest fucking shit some of the funnest times I've had holiday related are coming up with crazy ass scenarios for that fucking elf. It's fucking hilarious, you know? You know, some of it's funny for the kids and for the adults for different reasons. Like some of it's inappropriate, but they don't even get it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, but something as simple as like we took, you know, when they were like 3 and 5, I think, I want to say we used either baking soda or flour. I don't even remember what it was, and made, you know, with a pair of boots, like snow boots or hiking boots, made fake snow prints coming out of the fucking fireplace to the, you know, to their rooms and stuff. And it's like, we live in Texas. It's 67 fucking degrees out. There's no snow on the ground.
Yeah.
The chimney's fucking 8 inches wide. Like it's 2,000 degrees in there, and they still think it's real.
Yeah.
Like how is that not fucking hilarious and fun to see, like how excited they get, like, holy shit, they ate the cookie. There's fucking snow prints. You know, I mean, it's like, I mean, it's almost the full circle. It's like watching a bunch of senile old men like think that some crazy shit just happened that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like it's fucking hilarious. I mean, to me, you have to do that. Like you're robbing your fucking kids of that experience as a child, and as well as a parent and yourself. Because if they don't experience, they're probably not going to do it, you know, for their kids.
That's true.
So
did I ever tell? I don't know if I told the story how my daughter found out there wasn't one. So my daughter, I was very, very broke growing up. So when we had my daughter, me and my ex, my thing was Christmas was going to be special. I was going to do whatever, if it was physically possible, I was going to do it for her. So I think she was 12, 13 years old, and she went to private school, and very advanced private school. So I'm pretty sure around 10, she knew the deal.
yeah,
You know, so at this age, we're on the way to Easter, and she's in the back of my Mustang at the time, and she starts talking, I'm making my list for Christmas. Man, it's fucking early. And, okay, I'm interested. I want a MacBook Pro. I want a go-kart. I want a four-wheeler. I said, that motherfucker ain't real. Halfway through her shit.
you know that's bullshit, right?
Yeah. I'm going to let you know right now, you get any of that shit, I'm the motherfucker that bought it. Not some fat motherfucker at the mall.
That's some funny shit.
That's my fat ass.
I mean, it's usually other kids at school that, you know, it's like a little prison network, or they're all like, hey, check this out. You know, that's bullshit, right? What? No, it isn't. You know, and then they get.
Well, it's TV too now.
Yeah.
A lot of network TV fucks that shit up.
Yeah.
I've noticed over the years, and it's like, it's getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
And it's like, you motherfuckers.
Real quick, I'm gonna throw I don't know if you can put a poll on the screen or what, but for whatever episode is the one right before Christmas, do we wear fucking shitty Christmas sweaters for that episode?
Yeah. Put it in the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to get a certain number of votes, and I don't know what that is, but there's got to be a way to determine whether or not we fucking do it.
Yeah. Yeah, we could put a poll up. We'll put it on Patreon. We'll put it up. Is there a way to do a poll on
No.
YouTube?
No.
Not with that attitude. There's not, Rohan. Jesus.
We can definitely do it in the comments.
Yeah.
Don't do it in the live chat, you fuckstick, because I'm not going to sit there and count all your shit in the fucking live chat. Put it in the comments. Just put sweater or ugly.
Yeah.
Or Rohan for ugly. But yeah.
Put yes for that and no for ugly.
Yeah.
And Rohan for ugly, my bad. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. Because I'm
yeah.
now synonymous with ugly.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Rohan, you got anything?
No.
I want you
good.
guys to go buy Mike's book because he'll buy somebody something pretty. No, go check out the book. It has some seriously good insight in it.
Allegedly.
I'm through chapter 1 still. I'm waiting for the movie.
Which isn't coming.
It might come. You never know.
I might send you a movie.
I'll just watch it. Be like, damn, that's what the book's about? I'm going to have to read that. Books are always better than the movie.
It's just Mike fucking a
Yeah, just
PNG
Mike in
of
his
America.
living room and shit.
That's right. Jerking off in front of the mirror. What? Rohan, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you say that?
Just gives me the code to his fucking cameras. And I'm like, oh, this shit's live.
Here's the Wi-Fi password.
Yeah, guys, so check it out. Go on Patreon, because the one thing that was brought up today is if we get canceled. If we were to ever get canceled, we'd still probably put up episodes and bullshit on Patreon, so you people would still get to see it there. Other than that, check out Mike's Patreon, Mike's channel, all that good stuff. And if you want shirts, of course, neither of us are wearing the shirts today, but we do have some cool-ass uninfluenced shit.
Brandon, I need a black fucking shirt of the new ones.
Yeah, Brandon.
I still haven't earned them yet, so
XL.
No, bitch, you can go to the same link, though, and you can buy whatever you want.
That's what your paycheck's for, Rohan.
Yeah, motherfucker. You're not my child.
So you know Santa ain't real, right?
Yeah. So Brandon's been killing it on designs, guys. Go check it out. Links below.
God, that fuck stick mug is so funny.
Piece what, bitch?
The fuck stick mug that he made?
Stay in your lane, bro.
Oh, yeah. That one's cool.
Yeah, that was funny.
Peace, bitches. Fuck sticks.